you're gonna have to say no to your idols. Let me just put it that way.
You're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Let's get into. I really like this one. So we, of course, in this podcast have spoken about ownership time and time again, because we fully, really, really, really encourage it and do it ourselves, and want to educate people on the importance of it. But this time, we have Tyler Perry, not the actual, like, he's here with us, but like, we have Tyler Perry
you ready
here.
to go?
We have Tyler Perry here. No, we have a clip from an interview from Killer Mike's, I believe, podcast or show or whatever it is, of him talking about ownership. And it was definitely something I wanted to talk about for sure. So let's get into the clip.
Starting a business or working for someone else, ownership will dictate everything. What decision you make, how you make it. So my main focus was ownership, and I tell you, if ownership is the roots of the tree, everything else was the trunk and the branches and all the other stuff and the leaves that change and fall. It all came from that. So what I'm experiencing is living from the decisions of making sure that I owned every play, every movie, everything, every television show, so that I could be in a position where I could help change an economy. So that was my purpose here. It's just ownership.
Well,
Moose, they said business, so I gotta dish it to you real quick.
It's major, man. I think anytime the conversation of ownership always comes up, I think it's, do you want it now? Or are you willing to wait? Right? Like, I think that when you can't have ownership without putting in a little bit of time mixed into it, right? Because I think that's the big thing where, for those who are familiar with Tyler's story a little bit, is he talks about those like grueling days in the beginning. And again, I'm not promoting the struggle, because I think to some extent we've made things, we've glorified the difficult and the challenge and the grind, that while some of it is true, maybe even a lot of that is true, I think it's misled people, because some people jump ship too early if it's not difficult. They're like, oh, no, it can't be that easy. I'm out. So you abort the ship on something that would have been successful for you had you just stayed away. So I don't want to necessarily promote or glorify the struggle, but I do want to say that when it comes to ownership, especially at that level, it is going to take time, because it's making it one of your like mission statements or your value statements. Like, it's got to be something that you believe in so much so that as you go into every new deal and every new opportunity, and someone who's like even stretching their hand back and willing to pull you up because they might be the bigger platform at the time or the bigger business at the time, it takes a lot of discipline to say, nope, I'm still going to negotiate the deal in a way that, even if I have to take a little less, it might take me a little longer. It may not work out to my favor, because I want to maintain ownership. So I love that he puts it that way, because, he's showing you the stretch of his history. But I think what we're not seeing is the discipline that goes into it, right? To continue to say no, even when it's like, man, that's so tempting. To work with so-and-so, oh man, I would love to. All right, you know what? Even, because think about it, like, you're gonna have to say no to your idols. Let me just put it that way.
You're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Let me just put it that way, because I don't know that there's any other way to put it. Like, I guess I was trying to beat around the bush. My bad, y'all. Here it is. You can't have ownership if you're not gonna say no to your idols.
Isaiah, clip that up. Clip. That's gonna pass. That's gonna pass by somebody. That's so gonna pass by somebody. Man.
Yeah. I think it's gonna take a few, but it's true, because that means that you're in a position to grow something successfully, that it gets the attention of maybe some people that you look up to.
Yep.
And they're gonna come in and say, hey, let's make this happen. Let's partner, or let me actually buy that from you. And you got to have the discipline to say no to your idols, because ownership is such a high value to you. All right. So you can't have ownership if you're not willing to say no to your idols. That's tough. That's tough. That's easier said than done, for real. Yeah.
I can end it right there, but I'm not. But I can end it right. God, that was
Yeah.
really good. How am I supposed to go back? All right.
That's crazy. It just came to me. I was like, yeah, what am I trying to say? Oh, that's what you're trying to say. Just say that.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna trump that. Okay, I'm not gonna, no pun intended. But I'm not gonna go over that one. I'm gonna give it a different perspective of ownership provides opportunities, and I'm gonna say it like this. So, man. Okay, so I'm gonna get transparent because it's me, right? A little bit. This is gonna be hard. Okay, so
Tell them.
this will be hard. So, without saying all the names, right? Without saying all the names, you know, I'll say one of the names. Here we go. So Isaiah was helping me, and I love you, Isaiah. So this is going to be a great lesson. Isaiah was helping me in a particular project for, I think, over a year, right? And it was more like he wanted to prove that he can do it, right? And it was proven. It was cool. And in the project that I was in, I did not have control because I didn't own it of being able to compensate him in his just way or at all at a point, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the point where he was like, yo, I got to be gone. Like,
Wow.
I can't, right? And it killed me because I'm like, if it was up to me, I can do this, right? And finally, with a lot of yo, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to make this right. It worked out, but then now it's on a whole new level of if he does anything for me, it comes with pay, because I've gotten to the point where there's a part of ownership that I have that if I'm requesting it, it's coming from my company, not necessarily anybody else's. Anybody who necessarily needs anything from Isaiah has to come through here and I pay, right? And so when Tyler Perry said pretty much, it's bigger than just saying, yo, I own this, and things like that. You're providing opportunity for other people instead of, the same kind of situation where you want to make things right and you want to make things just, and you can't because it's not yours. You don't have a lot, you may have a lot of say based off maybe the direction, but there's still some limitation that you're going to have because it's not your company. You can have a high position on a 9-to-5. It's still not your company. You may have a seat at the table with a collaboration. It's still not your situation, And how he said it in the clip was like, yo, I own, the plays. I own this. I own the land. I own everything. So when I'm able to want something, I have full control of who's part of it and who gains access to it and who gets compensated and who doesn't. That's a different feeling, to make things right and be fair in an environment where majority don't get paid fair. In an environment where you normally have to get paid less than your worth. And if you want that to change for yourself, you have to own something and provide that for others. And it's like, I think that's why this particular one hit a little bit for me, because we look at ownership as just that, okay, I can make way more money than the 10%. I have 100% here, I have 10% here, right? My I always have to break half of it over here, or, for my kids or for legacy reasons, ownership could get passed on. And I'm like, ownership provides opportunities. Ownership gives, whether it's exposure, whether it is finances, whether it is mental, spiritual kind of vibes. Like, ownership provides opportunities that you couldn't do for anybody else by working with somebody else or for somebody else. And so if you haven't considered ownership in some way, shape, or form, for whatever reason, in 2022, I highly suggest it. Not for just yourself, but for the opportunities that you could provide others. And so the cycle doesn't continue to go on, that you are literally the change based off what you own. So,
Wow.